My name is Clara, I'm 39 years old, and I work at an architecture firm. I got divorced 2 years ago and now live with my 15-year-old son, Liam, in an apartment close to my parents' house. Liam is a sophomore in high school. My ex-husband, Ethan, was my childhood friend. His family lives just a few streets away from us. Even after our divorce, we stayed in the same city because he took over his family's hardware business. At first, I thought about moving to another town because I didn't want to see Ethan anymore, but since Liam was doing well in school and we liked the area, I decided to stay and bought an apartment here. The main reason for our divorce was Ethan's behavior. From the start of our marriage, we both worked full-time and split the household chores. When Liam was a baby, he went to daycare while we juggled work and parenting. Eventually, Ethan started running his family's business, but the company was struggling, so he wasn't earning much. We talked to his parents about giving him a better salary, but they always said, "The business is in trouble, we can't afford it." Even though we were having financial difficulties, Ethan refused to look for a new job. He'd say, "I can't let my parents down," and never took any steps to change the situation. 6 months before the divorce, when Liam started high school, I got a big opportunity at work. I was offered a major project. I had turned down similar chances before because Liam was younger, but now that he was older, I decided to take it. Both Liam and Ethan supported my decision. The new project meant I had to work longer hours and couldn't do as much at home. Liam stepped up and started helping with the chores, including cooking dinner. Ethan pitched in at first, but then he gradually stopped helping. Eventually, he wouldn't even take out the trash. I didn't realize any of this because I was so busy working. Then, one evening, about a month before the divorce, Liam told me he needed to talk to me right away. I used to rely on my ex-husband to care for Liam, but Liam sat me down and told me everything. He said, "Dad comes home drunk after 9 p.m. every night. I'm the one who cooks dinner, and he's always on his phone, texting and calling someone." I was stunned. I had no idea. I felt horrible for not realizing how much stress Liam was under, especially during such an important time in high school. I apologized to him and said, "From now on, I'll take care of everything. You don't have to carry this anymore." But I knew I needed to address this with Ethan, and I needed proof. I treated it like solving a work problem, tackling one step at a time. Liam urged me to act fast. He said, "Mom, just get divorced already, we're better off without him." Hearing how much Ethan had hurt our son made me realize he was no longer my partner, he was the problem. I decided to gather evidence for the divorce. I installed a GPS tracker on Ethan's car and acted like everything was normal until I had what I needed. A few days later, Ethan said he had to work on his day off. The GPS showed his car heading away from his office and stopping at a trendy cafe. I drove straight to the cafe and took photos. Later, I followed the GPS route and got more evidence of where he was going and who he was with. That night, Ethan came home in his usual work clothes. I confronted him with the photos. He turned pale and couldn't say a word. I was surprisingly calm. I told him everything I had found out, that he'd been neglecting the housework and spending his time calling and texting in front of our son, and what I had seen that day. Ethan broke down and apologized, but I couldn't forgive him. I pulled out the divorce papers I had prepared. He signed them, and we agreed to inform our families the next day. When I told Liam about the divorce, he fully supported the decision but made me promise to secure custody. Everything moved quickly after that. Ethan's parents initially begged us to reconsider, but they stopped when they realized the fault lay with him. My parents suggested Liam and I move in with them, but Liam wanted it to be just the two of us. "We'll be fine, Mom, I'll help out," he said. So, we started looking for a new home. We found a beautiful, renovated apartment near his school and decided it was perfect. I was able to buy it with payments similar to rent. Thanks to my steady job, Ethan moved back in with his parents. Life with Liam after that was wonderful. We became so much closer, and I was proud to see him grow into not just my son, but also my friend. A few months later, during one of our busy, happy days, I got a call from my parents. "Clara," my mom said, "your ex-husband and his mom are here. They said they need to talk to you but can't reach you. What should we do? Should we send them away?" I was caught off guard but decided to go over. I had blocked Ethan's calls and messages, so it made sense they couldn't contact me. I got in the car and drove the 5 minutes to my parents' house. When I arrived, my mom met me at the door, looking amused. I didn't expect Ethan to show up with his mother. "They seem upset about something. Your dad and I have no idea what's going on, she said. We were all stunned. I apologized to my parents and said, I'll handle this quickly, just leave it to me. Then, I walked into the living room. There they were, Ethan and his mother, sitting politely on the couch. My father, now calm with my arrival, addressed them. What's the reason for this visit? I don't see what's left to talk about. Ethan was the first to speak. I lent Clara $20,000, and I want it repaid, he said. I blinked in confusion. What $20,000? I don't remember borrowing that kind of money. Ethan frowned and replied angrily, What do you mean? I lent you that money for our wedding. Are you trying to cheat me now? Before I could respond, his mother jumped in. A wedding is for the bride, so that money is her responsibility. It's obvious, she declared. I was too shocked to reply immediately. Ethan, emboldened, added, If you can't pay me back, then remarry me. I'll write off the debt if you do. With that, he pulled out a marriage certificate. My father, usually a calm and patient man, turned red with anger. He stood up and shouted, Are you all out of your minds? Since when is a wedding a debt? This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. If you want to fight over this, take it to court, we're ready. With that, he snatched the marriage certificate and tore it to shreds. I felt a wave of relief and found my voice again. You're calling the wedding a debt? Fine. Then I'll calculate 15 years of living expenses for a man who barely earned anything and contributed nothing. That $20,000 won't even begin to cover it. Are you ready for that? Ethan looked stunned, but I wasn't done. And remarry you? No thanks. I don't ever want to see you again. Why don't you go and marry the woman you cheated on me with instead? Ethan's face fell, and he muttered, I lost contact with her a long time ago. It was just a fling, nothing serious. His mother then spoke in a calm but accusatory tone. Well, I don't think the affair was entirely his fault. You were so busy working that you neglected your home. Some of the blame lies with you. I couldn't hold back my laughter. Really? So neglecting his home and having an affair is my fault? That's some impressive mental gymnastics. Are you even listening to yourself? Ethan shifted uncomfortably but then said, I want to start over, but I also need some money. Ah, there it was, money, of course. I sighed deeply. Sorry, but I'm not a bank. If you're broke, you'll have to manage your finances on your own. Now, please leave. Ethan's mother tried one last time. How about $10,000? Or even $5,000? We're really struggling with the business. Before I could respond, my father interrupted with a smile. Honey, could you pack some leftovers for 3 people? He asked my mom. She nodded and headed to the kitchen, clearly enjoying the moment. My father then said to Ethan and his mother, The best we can do is send you off with a nice meal. We've raised Clara to help those in need, but that doesn't mean she has to give in to unreasonable demands. Please accept this meal with pride and never come back into our lives. When my mom returned, she handed them a neatly packed box of food. My father opened the front door, and they left without another word. Once they were gone, we looked at each other and burst out laughing. What was that? It felt like a scene from a ridiculous soap opera, I said, still laughing. My father grinned. Well, it was more entertaining than TV, but Clara, I'm really proud of you. You've become so strong. My mom added, You really have. I'm so impressed, and that was quite the show, but I did give them all our leftovers. So what should we do now? I smiled. How about we all go out for dinner? I'll pick up Liam, and it's my treat as an apology for all this chaos. My parents loved the idea. Over dinner, we laughed about the day's events and how absurd it all was. As for Ethan, I later heard that his metal workshop went bankrupt, and he struggled to hold down a job after that. His family home eventually became an empty lot. Meanwhile, my life is busy but happy. Liam is growing into a kind and responsible young man, and I often use Ethan as an example of what not to do. I hope he learns from it and chooses a wonderful partner when the time comes.